and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, where I post every other day around noon Pacific Standard Time because I am over here in California. If you guys want to follow any of my other channels and subscribe, I'll leave those down in the description box. Any other social media will also be down in the description box, so don't forget to check it out. Don't forget, if you guys happen to be watching my channel and you're not already subscribed, don't forget to smash the subscribe and like button. And if you are already subscribed, don't forget you can like, share, and turn your post notifications on so you're made aware of when I post. So today is Monday. I haven't been posting. I had a busy weekend. I had a lot of shit going on, and I didn't have the time. I just could not have the time. So we're getting right back onto it, to our regularly scheduled programming, and we're going to talk about some things, okay? We're going to talk about some things, and I know I'm going to have these people coming for me because I wanted to talk about the Fresh and Fit podcast. Them Fresh and Fit boys, because good Lord, I haven't been down a rabbit hole recently, like per usual, right? You guys know I see something on TikTok, YouTube, somewhere, and I go down the rabbit hole and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I just get sucked into it. And it's not my first experience with the Fresh and Fit podcast, okay? When my husband and I, before he was my husband, when we were broken up for those 2 years, I was talking to somebody. We were not in a relationship, but I was talking to him, and I would go out of town with him sometimes, and he actually introduced me to the Fresh and Fit podcast, which should have been a red flag because what the hell? I'm sure you guys have seen it. They have a lot of subscribers. They have over 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube alone, and then they have other media platforms as well. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about them, and then I wanted to tell you my thoughts and opinions on their views and the information they're spreading and what the hell is going on, because I don't necessarily agree at all with majority of what they're saying, and I'm curious to know if you guys do. And I'm sure I'll get a lot of dude bros, fucking people coming at me and saying a lot of shit about me, and that's fine. I don't really care. So we're gonna get right into it. If you guys do not know, have never heard of the Fresh and Fit podcast, it's a predominantly male self-improvement podcast, and it's hosted by two males, one whose pseudonym is Myron Gaines. He has, of course, his real legal name. I cannot pronounce it, so I'm not going to try to say it, but I'll put it up on the screen. He goes by Myron Gaines, or Fit, Fresh and Fit. He is just a lovely individual. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him in just a minute. But there's Myron, and then there is Walter Weeks, also known as Fresh Prince CEO, or just Fresh. That's who are the hosts of this podcast. Of course, there are other employees. There's a producer named Chris, other people that are regulars that are there when the show is filming, but they're not really important because they're not the face of the podcast. The podcast was created October 26th, 2020, right during the pandemic. If you look up what the Fresh and Fit podcast talks about, it says that they mostly discuss finances, dating advice, and gender roles, predominantly geared towards the male perspective, and definitely not anything positive for the women of the world. It's a very red pill platform, is the best way I can put it. Like I said, it started October 26, 2020, and it's based in Miami, Florida. So Myron is a 35-year-old mixed race male from Connecticut. He attended Northeastern University, graduated with his degree, and then he went on to work as a special agent for Homeland Security from 2010 to 2020. So this man was a special agent for Homeland Security for a decade. I found some conflicting things of whether he quit or whether he was fired. I don't really care. Then we have Walter Weeks, aka Fresh, and he's a 32-year-old male. He is originally from Barbados. He attended community college there in Barbados, and then when he was done is when he came over to Florida. I guess met up with Myron, and they started the podcast. Now, in some episodes, Fresh has stated that he wanted to become a priest or a pastor. He's Christian, right? Myron is Muslim. Fresh is Christian. Sometimes they talk about, the religious culture, the religious views, the religious input according to their viewpoints on relationships and gender roles and the power dynamic or lack thereof between males and females. So they're doing this podcast for a while. They amass all of these subscribers, and unfortunately, on August 18th, 2023, their YouTube channel was demonetized. And it was because, according to YouTube, this is a direct quote, for repeated violations of our policies, including our advertiser-friendly guidelines and community guidelines. So they had too many strikes against them, probably because of the subject matter of their podcast, which, you know, freedom of speech, everybody can have their viewpoints and their opinions and their beliefs. However, when it comes to advertiser-friendly guidelines, I don't think they're very advertiser-friendly. I don't think any red pill content is advertiser-friendly. Especially not when you're on the internet degrading women and trying to degrade women while simultaneously pedestalizing men. It's just bizarre. It's bizarre. So what they mostly talk about, right, not their little Wikipedia bio bullshit nice description, right? Because at the end of the day, they do talk about finances. They do talk about dating advice. They do talk about those things. However, the context in which they talk about it, of course, is not described in their Wikipedia page. They are the kind of podcast that believe that women should pretty much act, behave, and see themselves as inferior to a male. Nothing that a woman could ever do in life is ever going to be as good as a man can do it in life. If a man makes a certain amount of money, a woman should not expect them to be faithful. They should be able to do what they want, because at the end of the day, sex is just sex to a male, and it's not emotional, and a woman should not get upset or mad about that, because at the end of the day, he can F these hoes, but he's still gonna come back to you and you're the one that he wants. You should not, a male can have the highest body count possible, right? But a woman cannot, because that's dirty, and no man is gonna want you or take you seriously when you have sexual relations with a certain number of people. You know, if you do S work, for example, and you're a woman, don't get upset when a man treats you as such, I guess, and doesn't show respect for you or take you seriously, which I can kind of see that point, but at the same time I can't, because there are men who do S work now. They highly believe in gender roles. A woman should be kept, right? She should be home, she should be cooking, she should be cleaning, she should be laying on the bed naked, ready to go to Pound Town when her man comes home, because her man is home and he's out making the money. Pretty much just be subservient. A woman should be subservient, and a man is going to be a man, and if he wants multiple girlfriends, if he wants multiple wives, according to, you know, cultural differences and such. In America, you're not allowed to have multiple wives, but if your man wants multiple girlfriends, then you should be okay with it if he's making a certain amount of money, and as long as he's providing for you and he is protecting you, you shouldn't really have anything to say about it. Men are at a disadvantage, they say, because men don't have as much choice or as much say when it comes to being in a relationship with a woman. So for example, they say that a woman has to like the man or love the man more in the relationship, and that's how it should be, because the woman can just go out and get any man they want, and when it comes to weaker men, they'll be able to run all over them, get things out of them. The other men can't just go find any woman, you know. They want to find a high value woman. They want to find all of this shit, right? All of this top G high value fucking alpha male shit, and it's just aggravating. I don't understand. I feel that they are giving advice to the masses from a standpoint that is not the majority. Okay, the majority of people in the United States are not making over six figures. Even if they are making over six figures, they are still struggling. I live in California. If you make over six figures, you're still poor. You're still poor, okay? You're still struggling. You're still living paycheck to paycheck. You're still shit, dude. If you could apply for food stamps, you would apply for them shits, because it is expensive. So they're trying to say all men should aspire and require these standards and these guidelines out of women and out of a relationship, but not all men meet these requirements. Not all men are able to have a girlfriend that they can keep home and take care of, support, pay for all of their bills in order for that woman to, maybe take a certain job to get the money. For example, if a woman is a stripper, okay? If a woman is an exotic dancer and she is in a relationship with a man who is not rich, okay, who is not making thousands of dollars a month like these YouTube people or these TikTok people, a regular person, that man is not, most likely, especially living in a metropolitan area in a big, huge city, is not going to be able to have the woman stay home and cook and clean and walk around in lingerie and not have social media and make sure she's working out 7 hours a day so that she doesn't get a pound overweight, so he can feel masculine, he can feel like a real man. He's not going to be able to do that because he doesn't have the funds. So the woman is going to have to go out and find a way to make money. And for some women, it might be being an exotic dancer. For some women, it might be an OF page. For some women, it might be, I don't know, dog walking, working at Taco Bell, anything. But they're trying to say that all men need to have these standards, but not all men fit the criteria. Not all men can do that. And then you have these young, impressionable men, okay, little man boys who are listening to this and are like, yeah, that's what I want. I want a bad bitch who stays home and waits for me to get home and who's never going to talk back to me and who's never going to treat me this way or that way, who's going to treat me like a real man and hold me up on a pedestal and fold my clothes. But that's not the reality. That's not the reality. This is hard times. This is in the 1950s, okay? This is 2024. Shit is hard out here. People are struggling, and you have people who, some of us have made bad decisions in life. All of us have made bad decisions in life. When you are telling people that, for instance, when it comes, like I mentioned, the children, right? If a woman has a child, that's a detriment to her. That's a negative to her. And a man, she shouldn't expect a man to want to come into her life and take care of her and her child and, be a family when she already has a child outside of that relationship. And they constantly go on this podcast and say, well, you should have chose better. You should have known better. How am I supposed to tell the future? And there's a whole generation, a couple generations of men who are failing to be men. If you make a child or children with a woman and you do not support that child, you are less of a man. Hello? If you create life with a woman and you are ducking and dodging and she has to blow down your phone to see your children or help with your children and you're not answering and you're out doing whatever you want, you are not a high value man. These standards are for like millionaires. And then they make it sound like just unfathomable that a man who makes a certain amount of money would ever be able to be faithful. And they just say things as black and white, right? They try to say that, no, these are the facts and this is what it is. And no man who makes over a certain amount of money is going to be faithful to you. That's sad. That's crazy. It's bizarre. And then a woman is constantly being shamed for doing the same thing that a man would do. But we have to pick up the slack for ourselves if we can't depend on a man to do what they're supposed to do. It's just it's very bizarre to me, because don't get me wrong, but we do not live in a Muslim country. We are not a Muslim country. And I understand Myron speaking from that viewpoint because he is Muslim. So culturally, that's what he's used to. That's, what he was brought up in, as a woman being subservient, a male being dominant, and you do what the man says. You don't go out and the women don't go out and have a hoe phase. They don't go out and are independent women and bosses and all of this stuff. They don't do that. But in American culture, where we live, in America, where the circumstances are not the same, it's expensive as hell to live here. It's just not feasible. It's not feasible to have these gender roles. And maybe it might be the way that they say it. The way they deliver the message is terrible. It's terrible. Because if they said things in a way that wasn't so aggressive and so derogatory and so scathing, I think I would be able to understand some of their points better. But unfortunately, I think a lot of it has to do with, of course, shock value. They want people to watch the podcast. They want people to tune tune in. A lot of people do. A lot of people do tune in. And all you see in the comments, on the live comments, is just disgusting. Like, I saw one clip where this girl came on and she was talking about how she had a baby a year ago. She didn't have the same body that she had pre-baby. Of course, a woman's body changes. And she was on there talking about starting her journey to lose weight and, you know, get back on track. And they were talking about hormones and the way a woman's body changes and all of that. Well, Myron gets on there and says, no, she's a fat fucking whale. She's obese. How long ago did she have the baby? Oh, a year? Oh, there's no fucking excuse. She should have been lost that weight. I'm 6'3" and 215 pounds or whatever he said. She weighs 175. She weighs almost as much as I do. That's no fucking excuse. She's a fat piece of shit. She's obese. All of this shit. And this woman is crying. She starts crying and she gets up and leaves. What was the purpose of that? What was the purpose of that? Because although you were blunt and honest in your opinion, he then tries to tell the women when they're explaining to him his delivery was fucked off. He tries to tell them, no, they're wrong. No, they're wrong. He's right. Because she's never going to forget this day. And now she's going to go to the gym. And now she's going to lose weight. And she has him to thank. In Delulu land. In entitled little baby shrimp energy. I do not understand. And I can't decipher, like with many of these things that I talk about on here, if this is, I believe this is really how they feel. I believe this is really how they feel. And I just wonder what they talk about when they're not on camera. Is their whole lives, they dissect things so much. They're thinking about things in so much depth as far as how women are acting, how women are behaving, whether they're masculine, whether they're feminine, in their feminine era, all of it. Like, I don't know how they enjoy life. I do not know how they enjoy life. And the people watching these videos, go back to the woman that he was calling a whale and everything, the only thing you see in the comments is these fucking idiots commenting, fat bitch, dumb bitch, kill yourself, fucking whale, obese bitch. Dude, and this is the environment that you cultivated, and people support it, and people think like this. I'm like, I want to know, if I were single, no. Like I said, it should have been a red flag with that one person I was talking to. If I were ever to be single again, it would definitely be a red flag, because why the fuck does it matter how many people I've slept with? That doesn't change anything about the person I am. Okay, maybe I've made some bad decisions, but so the hell have you. So why can you judge me on what I've done, but it's, oh shit, I'm out of line if I question a man. If I question a man, oh my God. The fragility is just mind-boggling. But then, of course, they see it as a woman being too masculine to speak up for themselves. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think you guys should go watch just 5 minutes. Just watch 5 minutes of a podcast and you will get you will get it. I just want somebody to explain to me, what is the appeal? Like, if you're not a millionaire, what the fuck kind of advice are you getting from these people? Because you're never gonna get a woman who is on these podcasts, the women who are with the athletes, who are with the musicians, who are with the artists, who are with these people in such high levels of life. A regular Joe's not gonna get a woman like that. So what the fuck advice does he need for that? So he's gonna go walk around his little podunk town making, I don't know, $17 an hour and what? And do what? You expect to make $17 an hour, live in a double wide, tell your girlfriend she can't go find work and get money by any means necessary. She can't go get a job because she's a woman. She needs to stay home. So you're going to go work for a job that is not paying you well, for your woman to stay home so you can feel secure and you can feel like a man. Oh, and you're also allowed to go and sleep with other women because it's just sex. It doesn't matter. You need to get the fuck over it. It's crazy. And then if a woman says anything or disagrees or feels any type of way, they're a stupid bitch. They call them the R slur. They call them that. They just have, it's like, you cannot refute, you cannot argue, you cannot call out any point that they make because they're right. They're just the end all be all of any discussion regarding this topic. And it's just bizarre to me. So I'm curious what you guys think. I think it's a very toxic way of thinking. I think it's unreasonable. I think it's unrealistic, narcissistic, ego driven, almost like mommy issue, almost confused about your sexuality, almost. And I'm not trying to be an asshole, I'm being serious. It's giving me very much, you don't like yourself and you're trying, like, that's the only way you can put people down, is trying to make yourself better than a woman and hold yourself in a position of power over a woman so that you can feel dominant and you can feel confident in yourself while putting somebody else down and trying to tell them they're a bad person for doing the same exact shit that you've done. So a man can just go out and do whatever he wants, but a woman can never have lived a life before she met you. So she's supposed to be a psychic and know that she was going to meet you and be with you and not ever have had any life experience, anything happen to her. God forbid you have sexual trauma or anything, because she knew that you were coming. She prophesized that you were going to come into her life and fucking sweep her off of her feet and what? Treat her like a piece of shit, just put her up in a nice apartment? Because that's not the case for everybody. You can't say these general statements out on the internet and give all this free game to these regular fucking people, and then they're so gullible that they listen to it and they start treating people like that, and then they end up alone and they don't fucking know why, because they're brainwashed into thinking that what you're saying is the truth and reality of the world when it's not. It's very bizarre, very weird, very strange, and that's my thoughts and opinions on it. Let me know if you guys agree with me. I'm very curious to know, because I think it is highly toxic, highly problematic, very weird. I do not agree with it at all. The whole red pill media, red pill content conversation is fucking stupid to me. And I think these people, I don't know, dude. I just do not agree with that. More power to you, friend, if you do. But I need you to explain to me, like, in layman's terms. Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe it is just me. But explain to me in layman's terms, what is the benefit? Why do you believe the way you believe? And I'm going to need to know your living situation. How much money are you making? Where do you live? Why are you able to adopt this line of thinking if you are not in a position of power or financial freedom to be able to make these things come to fruition? You can't have the same standards as a millionaire if you are making $17 an hour. You just can't. So I'm going to need you to break it down to me, all right? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Thank you for hanging out with me. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, everybody who has subscribed. I really appreciate you guys. It means the world to me. It really, really does. It means so much to me. I cannot express it enough. Thank you to Mindy for shouting me out and just supporting me. I will cry if I don't stop. So thank you so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one, okay? Bye.